Are you ready to evolve your life? Are you ready to see immense growth and manifestation in your life? Are you ready to evolve every aspect of your mind, body, and your soul? Well, you're tuned in to Evolved Mastery, and I'm your host, Princeton Clark, and it is my goal to assist you on your journey of self-mastery as you create greatly in every moment of your life. So join me in this episode of Evolved Mastery. Hey, what's going on, guys? Princeton Clark here, and you're tuned into another episode of Evolved Mastery. And you know what? I'm just going to jump right into it this time. Today, I want to deal with the topic of maximizing your creative flow. We're in the beginning of this year, and it's taking off, and it's already off to such a fast start. And so many people are beginning to really step into their power and their potential to manifest what they have the ability to manifest. And I just want to make sure that you all who follow this podcast are also continually moving and consistently moving so that you can manifest your power and your potential as well. And so I really wanted to help you guys today in this podcast as we deal with maximizing your creative flow. Along my journey, I went through so many different challenges and so many different tests that challenged my consistency. It challenged my own ability to respond. And what I learned on my journey was that it wasn't my circumstances that stopped me. It wasn't people that stopped me. It wasn't things that stopped me or not having enough that stopped me. What stopped me was my perspective of everything that was happening around me, my perspective of what people had said, my perspective of what people thought about me, my perspective of what had happened to me, my perspective of the circumstances that I was facing, so on and so forth. And what I grew to realize was that, after I tried to commit suicide, if you guys have been following my podcast long enough, you know that at age 23, I put a gun to my head, I pulled the trigger. Long story short, the gun misfired. And that was the beginning of my awakening. That's what shifted everything in my life. But after that happened, it woke me up to the state of urgency. And what I realized was that, although all this stuff had happened in my life and all these different things had taken place in my life, every breath that I breathed from that moment was a gift to me, and so from that place, I started living life with a sense of urgency. I wasn't going to waste any more of my breath. I wasn't going to waste any more of my life because I knew that from the moment that gun misfired, every breath that I breathed following that was a blessing. It was a gift. And that really transformed my perspective. It transformed my life. It transformed how I responded to my life. It transformed how I perceived people and circumstances and all these variables in my life that at one point were my weakness or my perceived weakness or my excuse. And, it was at that moment that I had to make a decision, and I had to realize that whatever manifested from this point was completely up to me. It wasn't up to anyone else. It wasn't up to my circumstances. It wasn't up to all of these different variables. And from that day, I started living my life with a state of urgency. I started living my life like each breath mattered. I started living my life like every encounter mattered. And either it was going to impact me or I was going to impact it. Let me paint a picture for you. If I were to strap a bomb to you and I were to tell you that you have one day to start moving in your purpose and to start acting out your potential in every single moment, or at the end of that day, that bomb was going to explode and you would die, would you still sit there on the couch while that vest is attached to you? Would you sit there and make excuses? Would you sit there and complain? Would you sit there and not move in your purpose or blame life for the cards that you were dealt, so on and so forth? Would you sit there or would you get active? Would you live with a sense of urgency? See, I had to put a gun to my head to come to that place within myself. I came to the end of myself. But see, a lot of people take each moment for granted because they think that tomorrow is promised. They think that the next day is promised. And the truth is, it isn't. And also what a lot of people do is they just take the cards that they were dealt. They settle with what they've been given. They're like a leaf blowing in the wind. Whatever happens, happens. Instead of stepping into the position of saying, whatever I create happens. See, a lot of people are not stepping into their power. And as a result, they're just going wherever life takes them instead of realizing that they have the power to dictate to the reality of their lives what manifests. So a lot of the times, the reason things aren't manifesting is because you aren't getting fully active in your life. You're just letting life carry you, So I want you to really get to this place of understanding that you really are creating your reality. And I know in certain realities and certain circumstances, it's hard to accept that, even when things happen that are outside of our control, it's hard to accept that how I respond now is going to dictate my life, as opposed to just blowing with the circumstance and just going with it and playing the victim. Oh, this happened to me, and I don't know what to do now. It's like, okay, either you're going to sit there and you're going to sulk in there, or you're going to make something happen, because your life didn't stop just because those circumstances happened. Your life didn't stop just because people walked out on you. Your life didn't stop just because you were violated. Your life didn't stop because of any of these things. Your life kept going. You are still breathing. You are still alive. And that means you have to take these moments and you have to work it out. You have to acknowledge that, look, although this stuff happened to me, it's not going to dictate to me what I create with my life. Either you can take these moments, or this moment right here, right now, and you can maximize your response in this moment, living it like it's your last, living this day like it's your last, and you can choose to be happy, or you can choose to be productive, or you can choose to wallow and not move. I could have chosen to play the victim for the rest of my life after being molested. I could have chosen to play the victim for the rest of my life after being abused mentally, physically, verbally, and emotionally. There's so many different things that I could have given up on, or I could have stopped. And I tried, I really did, when I tried to commit suicide. But again, coming to that realization after that failed suicide attempt, I realized that, look, although those things happened to me, I was the one that dictated my outcome. I was the one that chose to get involved with gangs. I was the one that chose to get involved with heavy drinking and alcoholism and drugs and this just lifestyle of misery and hatred and anger and fear and worry and doubt. I was the one that chose to create that. I could have chosen to create something completely different. And see, a lot of people just don't have the wisdom that just like me, I didn't have the wisdom at that time. And it took me going through a lot to get to a place where I awakened to this. And so I just want to share my journey, and I share my story because I want you guys to understand that just like me, you can make a choice. Just like me, you can choose to be the difference in your life. You can choose not to be the victim. You can choose not to be a leaf blown by the wind of circumstance, blown by the wind of personifications or ideas, but it's all up to you. I mean, you have the power in your hands to manifest whatever you want to manifest, but you have to accept that. You have to accept your power and your ability to create. You can't sit back and just let life keep happening to you. It's time for you to happen to life. It's time for you to awaken to your power, to your purpose, to your ability to step into every single moment and be alive in that moment. Stop sitting back like a slug on a log, waiting for life to give you something, waiting for an opportunity to pass you by so that you can try to catch it. Get active in your life. Stop making excuses for failure, because failure is a choice. We choose to fail. We choose not to step into our power. We choose to make excuses. We choose not to read and expand our minds and our being. We choose not to meditate. We choose not to pray. We choose not to go deeper within our being. We choose not to make those things practices in our lives. We choose not to tune in. We choose to disconnect from our power. We choose not to move in everything that we have the ability to move in. And we choose to get stuck in this mundane way of living. We choose to get stuck in this mundane way of thinking, and we don't expand it. And in today's society, it makes no sense to live that way. It makes no sense at all to stay stuck in today's society when we have access to so much information. We have access to see so many different lives who have come from the same circumstances or similar circumstances, and they've made something of themselves. You want to know what separates them from you? Nothing but a choice. So will you sit back and stay where you are, or are you going to maximize your creative flow? Are you going to step into each moment powerfully and take steps? It doesn't matter. Look, it doesn't matter if you're taking little steps or big steps. Every step forward is a step in progress. So Just take the steps, put in the work. If you don't know what to do, reach out to someone who does. Like, this is what I do for a living, so reach out to me at evolvedmastery.com. Contact me. Find me on social media across all platforms, Evolved Mastery. Shoot me a message. I've created multiple ways to support people and assist people on their journey because this is my passion. This is my purpose. My purpose is to create a foundation that ignites a fire in people to awaken their full potential in every aspect of their life so that they can grow and develop as the powerful beings that I know that they are. I want to see people just like me awaken to their power, awaken to their purpose, awaken to their divinely given gifts that will open doors for them to be fully functional in every single moment of their life. But you have to be willing to make that choice. If you don't know what to do, reach out to someone who can assist you. Remove the pride, remove the ego. Even as, I've moved forward and I've opened up so many different opportunities for people to grow and for people to expand. And, I always see people who say, I want to grow, I want to expand, but then when it comes to investing in themselves and when it comes to making the right choices or when it comes to, taking the step forward, they stay right where they are. And then they wonder why things don't change. We all know that famous definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So you have a lot of people out there who are doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, and things aren't changing for them. And then they're complaining, they're pointing a finger, they're playing the victim, they're making excuses. But if you truly want to maximize your creative flow, then you have to step into your power to create. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. You simply need to know and believe what you are. You are a creator. You are a spirit on a journey with the power to manifest something great. But if you don't start acknowledging yourself and affirming that to yourself and stepping into every moment, knowing that you are creating every single moment, you are creating the responses and those responses are creating your reality, then it doesn't matter what you say, how you complain, where you choose to be in your life, if you're not going to apply your power to create change in your life. It's up to you. If you truly want to maximize your creative flow, then you have to first step into your creative flow. You have to first step into the knowing that you are a powerful creator. You have to first step into the fact that doors are going to open for you, that you have to have the faith to step into, and understand this. Every time you step into something new, it's not going to come without a challenge because you're stepping into a path that you've never walked before. It's no different than walking a road that hasn't been paved. There's going to be some rocks, there's going to be some jagged paths, and there's going to be some areas where it's hard to get through, but you have to pave that path. You might stumble a little bit, you might even fall down, but it's okay. It's a sign that you're stepping into something new. Just don't quit stepping. Don't stop. What's stopping you? You. You are the only thing, literally, you are the only thing stopping you from making the choice that's going to change your life. Every change starts with one choice. And once you make that choice, you have to keep making choices that are going to open the doors, that are going to create the reality that you have the potential to create because it's on you. It's not on anybody else. And I really wanted to focus on that in this podcast because so many people get stuck and so many people lose their way because they're focused on so many external things. They're focusing on so many different variables, as I said in the beginning. But it's time to stop focusing on all these outside variables and get in front of a mirror and really look yourself eye to eye and ask yourself, how bad do I really want it? In one of my other podcasts, how bad do you want it? It's one of those things, man. Like, I go back and listen to that podcast. If you were in that place where you really are ready for some change, go back and I want you to listen to that podcast on how bad do you really want it? If you really want it, then you make the decisions to manifest it. If you don't really want it, then you're not. And it's really that simple. It's not going to happen simply because you just want it to happen. It's going to happen because you create the circumstances for it to happen. You create the responses that assisted in manifesting because every response is a seed into the soil of your life. And as I always say, you are the root to the tree of your life. Stop focusing on all the branches and get back to the root. Stop focusing on everything that's not growing on those branches and get back to the root. Start nurturing that spiritual root. Start nurturing the spiritual essence of what you are. Start stepping into the potential of knowing that you are great. You are powerful. You have the ability to manifest something so amazing with your life. But you have to be willing to step into it. You have to be willing to remove everything that would stop you. You got to dig it up, remove those rocks that would cause you to stumble. And you got to pave the course, baby. You got to move like each breath depends on it, because it does. You can't sit back and let how other people respond to you or what other circumstances happen around you dictate to you what you manifest in your life. Because literally every moment depends on you responding effectively and efficiently in each moment with intention. So from this point on, we're not making excuses. We're not choosing to fail. We're not choosing to stay where we are. We're living every single moment as if it is our last. We're living every single moment to evolve, to be a better version of ourselves in each moment than we were in the moment prior. See, you got to want it, man. You got to want it more than you want anything else in your life, because the better you are for you, the better you can be for other people around you, and the better you can be for the world. If you want to birth your purpose and birth your potential, it all starts with you acknowledging the power that you are. It all starts with you taking the steps to be that. It all starts with you acknowledging that this is all on you. It's not on anyone else. It's not up to anyone else to figure your life out. It's all up to you to figure it out. You know, guys, I want to help you as much as I can, and I want to see you be as great as I know you are. I want to see you step into that power and your potential in every single moment. You know, and if there's any way that I can add value to your life or assist you on your journey, or maybe you're looking for a coach or somebody to help you just get through some rough patches or just to get a little more clarity, I'm here. But I want you to reach out to me. I want you to let me know how I can be of service to you. Find me. You can visit me at www.evolvedmastery.com, and you can find me at Evolved Mastery across all platforms, Facebook, and also on YouTube, and also on Instagram. So connect with me. Let me know how I can be of assistance to you. And also keep an eye out. My book is about to drop soon. I pushed it back a little bit, but Awakening Your Inner Master, The Journey of Self-Mastery, is about to drop, and it's going to bless a lot of lives. And I'm just so blessed to be stepping into this moment right now with all of you. Connect with me. Let's love together. Let's rise together. Let's win together, because you're worth it. Until next time, this is Princeton Clark signing out. Peace.